What's up guys, welcome back to another video. So today I'll be backtesting gold. So what I'll do is I'll go back to December 2020 to backtest the first week of December to see whether does it consolidate a lot, trend nicely, or is the volume nice for us to trade gold. So if you're ready for that, actually let's get right into it. So today I'll be backtesting using TradingView, right? I'll be using the replay function to replay historic data. So yeah, let's get right into it. So weekly time frame, what do we have is right off the bat, you can see that this is a key level of support on the weekly time frame that actually managed to close below. So just based off this candle closure, we can confidently say that price could potentially go even lower for the week to come, right? Either to this level or whatever lower time frame level that gold has. However, for the buying scenario, what I can see is a key zone right here on the weekly time frame. Right, we have rejections right here and rejections right here, and also coming in for that week, we can take a look at the lower time frames, maybe because if sellers start to take profits at there, and once we see a reversal of once we see a change in market structure from a bearish trend to a bullish trend, that's where we can start to look for buys, right? But overall, the weekly bias is still relatively bearish due to how strongly this area, how the weekly candle actually closed. Right, going down to the day time frame. So day time frame, right, looking left, you can see it's very clear to us now that these are very crucial area that we need to take note of. Once price starts to react to this level and show me signs of bullish trend, that's where I'll start to look for buys. However, for sells, I'll still need to wait for a confirmation below this zone right here, potentially maybe below this level, because we have clean candles to the left right here, and if a candle can close below that level, that's where I'll start to look for sells. Because I don't want to blindly look for sells in a zone, because I don't know whether price is gonna reject or is it gonna break down. That's a risk I don't actually want to put myself in, right? So just based off the daily time frames, I have a selling level as of now, right? I will go down to adjust them as we go down in the time frame, right? Just based off the 4 hour time frame, you can see based off market structure, we are creating lower highs and lower lows, right? It's very clear to us that price is creating very strong bearish trend. So for me to take buys, what I'm looking at is always to look for the previous swing high, which in this case right here. If this swing high is broken, then that's where I'll start to look for buys up to retest this level right here. What I mean by that, right? So let me just try to illustrate that. Right, in a bearish trend, you guys may already know price creates lower highs and lower lows. So once a swing high is broken, I can say that price is attempting to create a new higher high, right? And if price retraces down, finds support at previous resistance, now turn support, that's a new higher low. So in this case, which area is the previous swing high, which is this level, right? Once price closes above, creates a new higher high, retraces down, rejects that level, there's a new higher low. So to me, that's two bullish confirmation of the bullish market structure, right? Because in the bullish market structure, we have higher highs and higher lows. So that's what I'll be looking for, right? So this is where I'll start to look for buys and sells. Let me look to the left. So if we can get a 4 hour candle closing below this level, we have clean candles to the left for us to drive down. So that's the two levels I'll be paying attention to. So going down to a 1 hour time frame. So 1 hour time frame, right, you can see already price close below a minor support created. So if we can get another bearish closure, something like that, I can anticipate a further push down. Right, if not, I'll be waiting for a retracement up and potentially reacts to this level, find support, find resistance, and then I'll take the trade down all the way. So that is something I'm visualizing, right? So whenever I do my top-down analysis, plotting my levels, I will always play this type of scenarios in my head so that I will understand what's price trying to do at that point in time, right? 30 minutes time frame is no different, right? Price is rejecting, price is already close below the level. So let's just play out what price might do, right? So it's nothing still. So basically now what price is doing is rejecting, creating a range. Okay, so now in this case, what I'm looking at right now is price had a support right here. Price managed to close below that support, and now price closes back above. So meaning to say, this whole play right here is a fake out. So usually in a fake out to the downside, what I always noted is whenever we have a fake out here, usually price will retest the top of the range. It's the same concept as having a fake out to the top side, right? If price close above and back down, it will usually retest the bottom of the range. So in this case, I can anticipate price to drive up and retest the top of the range, something like this, right? To retest this high once again, because it just did a fake out. So let's see. I will not be taking an entry, reason being because firstly, there's rejections area right here, and the range to the next level it's only 10 to 15 pips. It's basically taking a trade in the range, right? If these candles are clean, I will be taking the trade any other day, right? If the candles to the left is clean and the range is huge, I will be definitely taking buys up to this level right here. So yeah, let's just see if this fake out will retest the top of the range. So it closes back below the range. So now what I'm looking at is price has two consolidation range. Consolidation range 1 here, consolidation range 2 right there. So let's just see. So it didn't retest the top of the range like I like to. Right, so it's basically just ranging. So most of the time in trading is I'm always waiting, right? I had my levels plotted out, and these levels are not random levels just because we have clean candles to the left and all that. It's because this level is crucial for me because we did the analysis behind it. If a candle can close above this level, then maybe that's a change of market structure, right? And let's fast forward it. Right, eventually it managed to tap into resistance. I will start to pay attention, right, and start to see if we have a candle closure above that level. Right, so okay, we look left. Right, okay, so now it's a good opportunity, right, because you can see no candles to the left managed to close above that level. Now we have a candle closure above resistance. And what does this mean, right? You can see already price rejected key daily support, and once price closes above a higher time frame swing high, that's where I know that there's potential for the bulls to take over, right? So I'll be setting a buy right at the break of the previous candle high, and potentially targeting the next level of resistance, which is 1807, right? Setting stops below previous 15 minutes low. So let's just see if this plays out. Okay, broke the highs, we are in the trade, right? So okay, so something to note is we have a minor level right here. Usually what I like to do is I like to scale out whenever we tap into a level, right? This is where I will secure TP1 and eventually secure most or if not all my positions at my ultimate TP. So let's just see if this plays out, right? Of course, I'll bring my stops to break even whenever I secure profits. So let's see. Right, ranging, slowly creating. Okay, so this is a good example of trying to wait for your candle to close above your levels. You need to understand the whole dynamic of this trade, right? We managed to wait for our candles to close above that level, and going back to the weekly time frame, yes, we are bearish, but then we cannot ignore the fact that price is starting to reject this key zone right there. So with that, once we have confirmations of change of market structure, which is bearish trend to a bullish trend, that's where we started to take the opportunity to look for buys, which is the 15-minute closure above resistance. So now, since we had TP right here, going back to the higher time frames again to look for potential levels, right? Go to the 4-hour, right? So now what I'm looking at, you can see it's very clear now that these two zones are very crucial, right? Price is basically consolidated in this range, and when price comes back into a consolidation range, it might start to consolidate again. However, another thing to note is you can see that this is a key support level, right? And price managed to break below, and now price came back and closed back above, meaning to say this whole move downwards is a fake out. So usually what happens in a fake out, you will usually retest the top of the range, right? Like every other fake out. So that is something I like to see again, if that will play out or not. right? It sort of reacted to the level, right? It tapped into resistance because we are relatively bullish on gold now, right? Noting that that is the key level that price rejected. So now if price can close above resistance, then we can look for another potential entry, right? So let's just note a key level right here, right? So if I can get a candle closure just like this trade right here, right, and that's where I can potentially target the top side once again. So let's just wait, right? You can see that in the live markets we aren't trying to trade all this noise right here, right? Even though it may seem like it's creating higher highs and higher lows, that's not our plan to begin with. It's so important to understand why we plot that level in the first place and not just forcing the trade and eventually put yourself in the bad position for the day. So for me now, the next game plan is relatively simple. Wait for a candle closure above this resistance. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Right, continuing bullish, right, rejecting resistance. There's no trade yet, right? Going down, rejecting resistance a little. So basically, once again, what is price doing towards the left? Usually it will mimic it, right? If we have clean candles to the left, price should mirror it to push up. But in this case, we have consolidation to the left, so it's very normal for price to consolidate right now. So let's just wait for candle closure. Another thing to note is in a consolidation range, it's so important to wait for candle to close because there's a lot of indecision happening, right? There's buyers and sellers are clashing one another. So usually there's a lot of fake outs that happen in consolidations. So just wait for confirmations, right? Candle tried to break above, didn't, right? So now perfect. So what we see here is similar to what we get here. Same thing. Once again, I'll be looking for buys, breaks of the high, potentially setting stops below the low of the previous candle, targeting potentially right here, but I'll be securing profits right here and right here. So yeah, let's see if this plays out. Okay, so we got TP1, so that's where I'll start to bring my stops to break even, and once again letting the trade play out. Okay, so usually we have cases like this where price pushed up quite a bit, right? If you miss this move, what I'll wait for is wait for a new high to create. If this is a new high, I'll wait for a retracement down, find support and take the trade here to then retest the same highs again. So that's what I'll be looking for. That's something that you can start to scale in your trading. So yeah, so now it's created a high, right? So once price closed bullish at previous resistance or whatever, or right here, that's where I'll start to take buys once a support is created. Alright, it's still rejecting, going the 1 hour time frame, 4 hour time frame. Right, so it's still rejecting the level. Okay, so now it rejected previous levels. So on the 15 minutes time frame, actually it created support, retest this resistance level, and now it's sort of ranging. What I mean by that is because we have resistance right here, support right here, and price is basically ranging right here. What I'll focus on now is the 1 hour candle closure because it shows mixed signals because on the 15 and 30 minutes. So 1 hour time frame. Okay, so okay, perfect. So now what I'm looking at is candle managed to close back below this range, and the next candle actually closed bullish back above resistance. So meaning to say this is another fake out, right? And we have clean range to the left for us to fill this wick. This trade has already been got stopped at break even, right? After hitting our take profit 2 at around 130 pips. So what I'll look for now is preferably in the live markets a bottom wick creation to then fill the wick to the left right here and eventually this wick. But of course this low of the previous candle has to be respected. Usually since there's a long wick, right, what I like to see is a long bottom wick while respecting the lows of the previous candle and then take it off the flip, something like this. So I'll target the same and then putting stops the low of the previous candle. So let's just see if this plays out. Okay, so in this case, right, it actually played out, but however there's no bottom wick. So this is a trade that actually I wouldn't take in the live markets, but in this case it actually pushed up, right, to our TP1 and whatever, but this is not a trade that personally I'll be taking. Even though the setup is there, but my entry criteria isn't. I need that bottom wick for me to take that trade. So yeah, this is a good move, but it's not a trade I would take in the live markets. Right, so let it do its thing. Let me just let it play out. Right, it's ranging. So what I'll wait for now is potentially this high to break, because in my mind, right, this is your first opportunity to take buys once a support created. But if in the case where you miss a move, what I like to look for is a break of resistance. In this case, these candle actually managed to close above resistance. Let me just set a buy right here, break of the high. We're now 30 minutes candle, looking at how it looks like. You can see that on the 30 minutes candle, even though candle managed to close above, it didn't close with a wick. So meaning to say this isn't a trade that I'll be taking. Right, but based off the 1 hour, if this candle can break the high of the previous candle, it should be able to break up. Say right here. Right, it didn't break the high, meaning to say there's no entry. So in this case, I'll be taking away this entry because it's already invalidated. It already broke the lows of the previous candle. Right, going on 30 minutes, basically price is ranging. So now, since there's a new high created, I'll bring up my resistance level. So if a candle can close above this resistance level, we still have clean range to the left. That's something I'll still be looking for. Basically, price is still consolidating. Going on 15 minutes time frame. Right, so 15 minutes time frame managed to close above resistance, right, but didn't create a bottom wick. So in this case, this isn't a move that I'll be looking for. The next thing I'll wait for is a retracement down. Same thing, create support and retest the high wherever that may be. So that's just going down. The volume is dying down because it's post London. Right, so this is another good opportunity, right? You can see that towards the left, what we have is this resistance level right here. So if price can close above this level, we have this wick to fill on the 30-minute time frame. So looking left, you can see already price actually closed above this level, created a slightly small bottom wick around 4 pips, flipped and broke the height of previous candle, and then managed to target the highs, which is right around here. Right, so this is the next level where the price should be able to hit to, right? So this is another good example of waiting for candle to close. Once again, once price can close above this level, something like this, we can anticipate this big massive bearish candle to get filled. So it managed to close above right now. What I'm looking at is going down the 15 minutes time frame, setting another buy right here, breaks up the high, and to see whether it could fill the massive wick to the left, the massive candle, sorry. So let me play this. Right, it broke the high, closed bearish. This is where, right, so this is a losing trade, right? Candle managed to close above levels, broke the high of the previous candle. I'm not sure whether it created a bottom wick or not first before breaking the highs, but if it didn't, then this is not a trade I would take. So but then let's say we are in this trade, right? If this candle managed to close bearish, that's where I'll close 50% or if not full. And yeah, so this is how I would manage the trade, right? This candle closing bearish, I'll either close full or I'll close 50% of the trade, and then letting the rest run down to my stop loss. So yeah, candle managed to close back below level, meaning this move to the top side is a takeout. So let's just see where it goes. It might come back below to this level. Right, so price started to push down, right? There's no entries. I think because, right, we noted that this whole level on the day time frame is a strong level. You can see that this is a strong key level. So whenever price steps into that level, this is where you want to be very careful taking any trades. So let's just see where it does, where it goes. 1 hour time frame. 1 hour is still relatively bearish. 30-minute close bullish. However, the 1 hour candle is still open. So let's wait for a potential 1 hour candle closure. So in this case, what price did was created support right here, and let's measure the range towards the next high around 30 pips. So what I'll do now is potentially set an entry at a flip, right? assuming price creates a bottom wick first and then breaking the highs, subsequently to retest the highs once again. So let's just, right, so candle create a bottom wick. I'll set the stop loss at the low of the bottom wick and then retest the highs, right? So this is another example of taking trades once support is created to retest the highs. So this is exactly what happened. So basically all the setups are pretty much similar. In this case, we entered based off support creation, and the entry criteria is wait for the bottom wick and the flip, right? Those are two separate things. So but usually when there's a good setup and the entry criteria is not there, there's no trade for me. But in this case, there's enough range for it to retest the highs, and also the setup did a nice support creation for me to take the trade up. So this is another good trade, right? Secure most of it once the high is tested and then bring stops to break even. So let's see how high it goes. Right, so it came back to my entry. So in this case, this is just I'm just trying to play out scenarios as the days goes by, right? If you do this in the live markets, you're probably already over trading, which is not healthy at all. So yeah, this is already 3rd of December, one more day to go. Right, so let's try to see on the high time frames what is it doing right now. Let me just clear all the levels to do fresh analysis once again. Right, daily time frame, right? Daily time frame is relatively bullish already because we noted that price rejected that weekly support, broke above key swing high. That's where we know that the bearish market structure is starting to reverse. So we are coming into this zone right here. That's where we don't really want to take trades anymore because we don't know whether price will start to react into this level or is it gonna break up. So yeah, wait, going down to 4 hour, right? Price is starting to get exhausted because once again, right here, you can see whenever price starts to tap into a high time frame zone, sellers start to take profits, buyers start to come in, having a lot of indecision because there's a clash between buyers and sellers. Same thing right here, right? We're relatively bullish. Once price steps into a high time frame zone, which is right here again, you can see exhaustion start to play out once again as buyers start to take profits and sellers start to come in. So it's very imperative to wait for confirmations, right? So looking at market structure alone, right, we have this support right here, and if price can start to close below this support, and that's where I know that maybe high lows is broken, right? This is the low created, and if price close below the low, then there's a new lower low being created. Same thing as the start of this video, right? We were looking for a change in market structure from a bearish to bullish trend. So now, since price steps into a strong take profit area on the high time frame for the buyers, so maybe now we need to look for bearish scenarios whereby the bullish trend will then change into a bearish trend. Just see if a candle can close below that level. Rejected support. Right, price is basically ranging, right, having a lot of indecision and consolidation. And also just to take note that we aren't looking at any fundamental news, everything is just based off technical analysis right here. Price broke above previous swing high, right? So there's nothing much going on, price is consolidating. So on days like this, it's very important to not take any trades at all, right? So price is coming back down. Could we get a candle closure below that? So okay, so that's the end of the whole first week of December, right? So far we've taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, around 5 trades and 1 loss on gold. Honestly, the loss that I took on gold was a mistake because I neglected this whole area on the high time frame, right? I basically took buys into a zone, which is something that I will always avoid doing. If I didn't take that trade, it would be a 100% winning week for me. So yeah, as you can see, just something to take note from this backtesting session, right, is most of the setups and entry criteria are similar across the board. The only issue is waiting for that setup to play out and not just always staring at the chart trying to force trades in a range, right? Always plot levels and only put levels that matters. That's the thing. If the levels are there, it's there for a reason. So just wait for price to come to that level and then make a decision after. So yeah, I hope you guys learn a thing or two from this backtesting session, because honestly, looking at this, it's pretty nice that gold managed to trend very nicely at the end during December 2020. So let's see if gold does that again coming in December 2021. Yeah, if you have any questions regarding this backtesting session or whatever you didn't understand from this session, you can just DM me at Yuki Journal. That's where I'll be answering most of your questions. So yeah, that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed that video because it took me quite a while to film this backtesting session, and I hope you guys learned a thing or two from them. To me, the key points are that the gold actually trends pretty nicely at the end of the year. I mean, just based off this backtesting session. So yeah, hopefully we can get the same type of volume coming in December 2021. If you guys are interested in viewing my daily analysis on gold or GJ on the day-to-day basis, do check out the Patreon link in the description box down below. That's where you can actually see my daily analysis, how I update the charts, give you price alerts, and what I'm looking at on the daily basis. I hope to see you guys at the next video, and yeah, please take care.